Just in time for the dog days of summer, or a summer party, a picnic, or making a treat for your kids or grandkids, we're making ice cream today. It's going to be a chocolate ice cream. No eggs, no cooking. All you need is your trusty ice cream maker and some delicious ingredients. Let's get started. My ice cream maker is a simple one. All I had to do in preparation was to make sure that my ice cream maker cylinder was put in my freezer for 24 hours. Early in the day or the night before, you'll want to make the base for your ice cream. I like to put my base in a pitcher because it's going to go into my refrigerator to sit and to let the flavors melt together, to make sure that the sugars dissolve and then it's ready to go. First, add a half a cup of granulated sugar and a third of a cup of packed brown sugar. I'm using a whisk and I'm going to just start to whisk these ingredients together so that I get a good distribution on them. I'm going to add a pinch of salt because salt will enhance the flavor of the chocolate. Next, you're going to want to use a good cocoa powder, a Dutch process cocoa powder. And we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of the cocoa powder. This is going to make it super chocolatey. Give it a good whisk. Next, I'm adding 2 1/4 cups of heavy cream. Heavy cream gives it a nice mouthfeel, makes it taste decadent and delicious, along with 3/4 of a cup of almond milk, but you can use whole milk, 1% milk, oat milk, any kind of other milk that you want. Again, another nice whip with the whisk. I'm also adding 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And if you plan to keep your ice cream in the freezer for any length of time, I'm going to suggest that you add 1 tablespoon of vodka. It's not necessary, but the vodka helps to inhibit the growth of large ice crystals and will ensure that your ice cream stays smooth and creamy for a longer period of time. Now, if anyone in your family is alcohol sensitive, you definitely would want to leave it out. Again, give this a really good mix. And then you're going to place it in your refrigerator for at least 2 hours or up to overnight. Every once in a while, give it a little stir with your whisk, making sure that your sugars are dissolving in the liquids. Doesn't it look rich and chocolatey? I'm going to give it a little taste. It's going to be good. Once your ice cream base has chilled, you're ready to add it to your ice cream maker. Assemble your machine in whatever machine you have, and then just pour the ingredients into the bowl. Turn your machine on, and you'll have ice cream in 20 to 30 minutes. While the ice cream's churning, let's go over some questions and some tips around making homemade ice cream that you might be interested in. One of the first questions that I always get asked is, can I make ice cream without an ice cream maker? And you can. There are recipes that include condensed milk in the ingredients, and those seem to be creamy and scoopable, but I've never been satisfied with them, so I did break down several years ago and get an ice cream maker. They're inexpensive and they're really worth it when you want to have some homemade ice cream. How long will homemade ice cream keep? You know, really, when I make homemade ice cream, we usually eat it right then. It doesn't last. Very rarely do I put it into the freezer. And that's because over time, homemade ice cream does deteriorate. It gets icy. It doesn't have the creaminess that I like. And that's because we're not putting all of the additives that they put in it to make it commercially stable and to last for quite a while in commercial freezers. Think about that when you're making your homemade ice cream. You're going to want to consume it pretty quickly. Another question, the one about iciness. And you know that in my recipe, I suggest that you put a little bit of vodka in it to reduce iciness. It's really hard when you're making ice cream at home to make an ice cream that doesn't get icy at all. But while you're churning it, you want to make sure that your machine has the right amount of ingredients in it so that it can churn and turn the ingredients on a consistent basis. And that will allow you to maintain a creamy ice cream mouthfeel. How about the cocoa powder? I use Dutch processed cocoa powder because it is a richer and less acidic cocoa powder than the non-Dutch processed. I use granulated and brown sugar in this recipe, and that's because the brown sugar adds another depth of deliciousness to the chocolate ice cream. So you can use just granulated sugar if you want, or you can even increase the amount of the brown sugar. I really do encourage you that once you start making your homemade ice cream, play around with the recipe to get it to be just the way you like it. The other thing is that you may be able to put add-ins into your ice cream as you make it if you want to churn them in. The only thing to be aware of is the size of your ice cream maker and whether your ice cream maker will have room for additional candies, nuts, whatever you want to put in there. I like to serve my ice cream with an ice cream bar, let's say, with all the additives, and anyone can add the additives that they love best. So my suggestion is to create the base of ice cream flavor that you want and then offer other additions to make it delicious and fun. Now let's get back and see how our ice cream's doing. After 8 minutes. "16 minutes. At 26 minutes, the ice cream is just the way I like it, at a consistency that is soft serve, but holds its shape on a spoon. I just want to dig right in. So delicious. Transfer your ice cream to freezer-safe containers. I like to use pint or quart deli containers. Enjoy.